Well, greetings everybody. Welcome to our King's channel. I am Al-Yahnai Hawkins, your sinning servant, and I do apologize to y'all for the sins that I've been involved with and the sin that... sorry about the interruption there. I just received 2 sprouting trays here. You got the cover to keep the liquid or the moisture in. There's this tray that has plenty of holes in it, and then of course where you put your water in here, you put that in top of it after you soak your wheatgrass for a while, the seeds. You can cover it up every day. Of course you need to rinse them out once or twice a day to get wheatgrass going. But I also bought me a juicer from Walmart that was on sale. You can see here it's the Best Choice Products 150 watt horizontal slow masticating juicer, list for $114.99. I got it for $59, and I've needed a juicer since the last one I had was burned up in my home in Taberg, and I wasn't able to afford another till the stimulus check had come a while back, and I just remembered I needed one. Still had money in the stimulus account, so I figure I get this juicer here. And of course, as stated, with these here dealies, I can grow wheatgrass and I can have my wheatgrass every day. I used to do it when I was younger, when I had money and when there was a way I could do so. I'd buy it from the store for like $3.50 for a shot glass full, so I figure that I could save a lot of money and have a lot better health if I was to do some juicing. But back to where I was telling you that I was your sinning servant. Yes, indeed, I did sin last night. I feel horrible about it. I didn't know I was doing it. I thought I was doing benefit for my holy temple here, trying to cleanse it out. And what I had done was I bought these Kinoki cleansing detox foot pads, and I had paid $6.59, and there was tax on top of it. Of course, I had only paid $5.60 each for a box because I had bought 3 boxes of them that I just brought over to the neighbor lady's house, and I left her a note explaining how I was spiritually allergic to these. Maybe she or someone else she knows could use them. So let me explain to you where I had sinned. And I had gone through a whole lot of these different detox foot pads. I've heard they were great. Every day when I wake up, I usually have a problem breathing, and I immediately take the Colonia Cava extract. I've been doing this for around 10 years because I had seared my lungs with hydrogen peroxide at 35% when I was somewhere around 22 years old, maybe 20, 21, 22, working in a milk plant where I worked in the NLL room. And what it was completely encased in glass. There was only a couple holes where a half gallon of milk in the cartons. We didn't have plastic cartons in those days. They were all in cardboard cartons, and they go through a machine where they get folded, and each carton, it would go psh, 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 with hydrogen peroxide at 35% into it. It'd go through a heater that was inside the room. They'd be filled with milk, sealed up, and then they would go out through the slot in the window. So all the fumes of that hydrogen peroxide was in the air. And at the time, I was the only one ever, out of all the milk plants on the earth, I was the only one that had acquired at that time occupational asthma. And they wouldn't pay me anything for a while. They put me out of work, told me if I went to work, I would lose my benefits from being put out of work, so I was really caught up in a bad situation, as most situations are in my life. And I had to move from New York because it was so humid, I just couldn't breathe, and I was on these inhalators that I had to carry with me. I was a slave to them, and I ended up moving to Texas. Of course, it wasn't because of that reason at all. It was because I had a voice that told me I had to leave my father's house and go build my father's house with gold. So I went out looking for gold, out of the streams and such. And it wasn't until about 5 or 6 years ago when I realized that the gold I was to build our father's house with was not from the metal. It was from the scriptures. So anyway, I was doing research, and as stated, I came across this here Kinoki cleansing foot pads or detoxing pads. And I had looked at many brands because there's many brands out there. But I chose this one because I was only going to try out 15 days worth, so that's why I had bought 3 packs of these for $5.60 each, and then they were over a week late coming, and I should have known at that time that our king was pointing something out. But if our king wanted me to see him at that time, I'm sure he would have let me know, gave me a dream or something. While I lay quietly on my bed, he'd have pointed out to me that I should look for the ingredients, what they actually meant. I knew what the ingredients were because even down in here it shows you what they are. It says bamboo vinegar, chitosan, dextrin, dokudami, loquat leaf, tourmaline, vegetable fiber, vitamin C, and wood vinegar. Well, I knew what most of these were, but I wasn't going to eat them, you know. And of course, everybody out there, for the most part, is falling victim to this by the shampoos that they use. I use bar soap, and I make sure it has no pork or anything of that sort in there. If your soap says glycerin on it and it doesn't say vegetable glycerin, most likely you are washing yourself with a dead pig. And there's many other things they put into these soaps and shampoos and lotions and everything else, but we're talking specifically about these foot pads and mycin. Okay, so the bamboo vinegar, I knew what bamboo was, but I didn't know what chitosan was, and it sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Well, today when I woke up, and I'll show you what they look like a little bit here later, but these things that I had put on my feet were so nasty, man. I threw my socks away because not only did it fill up the pads, but the pads had leaked into my socks, and they were some pretty flimsy socks. Sometimes they fall off, you know, when I'm walking. They were so wore out. But today I went in the bathroom and I pulled my socks off, and they were black on the bottom or dark green. I'm colorblind, don't matter which. But anyway, I didn't need my Aclonia kava extract when I woke up, and I said, wow, that's great. Well, I rolled right out of bed. I said my prayers. So here I'm coming before our king in an unclean state, not knowing it, and I prayed for every one of you. Then I seen what was going on with those pads and everything, and, you know, I just didn't feel right. And it wasn't, you know, like a illness not right or a discomfort of the physical shell not right. It felt like I had done something so bad, so wrong, and I didn't know what it was. But at that time, something was leading me, or someone was leading me to take a look again at these ingredients. And I went through, I checked out the dextrin, thinking it was sugar, but it was actually like a vegetable fiber that is used to thicken or absorb. And I figured, well, you know, well, that's all right, you know, because, well, these patches are cleansing us. Our bodies send out moisture filled with toxins and such, so the dextrin just kind of absorbs it. Now, this dokudami here, I knew that was a plant, and that's what dokudami is. It's a flower, it's a plant. I've come across it before. The loquat leaf is, of course, a plant. The tourmaline I knew was a mineral source. In fact, there are articles of jewelry made from tourmaline, and basically this is powdered or however they derive it. Then you had vegetable fiber. I wasn't particularly keen on this vitamin C because it could be GMO. But I figured since I wasn't going to be eating it, it wouldn't be quite as harmful, probably to be used more or less to absorb the toxins as well. And then it has wood vinegar in there. But this chitosan here, I didn't have a clue what it was, but I figured it was probably just stupid, you know, dumb, playing Russian roulette with sin, you know, is this chitosan. Now, what chitosan is, it shows down here, chitosan is a sugar that is obtained from the hard outer skeleton of shellfish. Okay, so that explained to me there why I felt so horrible going to prayer this morning first thing, because here I am with this shellfish all over the bottoms of my feet, knowing some of it had to have been absorbed into this holy temple. I just really felt horrible. I sinned, you know. I shouldn't have never done anything, should never put anything on my body without looking the ingredients up first. I tell y'all to make sure you do, and here I didn't, and it seems so innocent, but this innocence, like I put onto the note for the neighbor lady that goes to the Baptist church down the street and around the corner, they eat pork, they eat shellfish, they don't have a problem with it. So if there's an animal that dies on its own, I can actually give it away or sell it to the stranger or the heathens. So anyway, I put on the note there that I was spiritually allergic to the chitosan. Now I have to say there's been a lot of benefits as well, even though it was unclean as all get up and go, my shoulder today feels, 10% better. It doesn't have that stabbing, aching, fiery pain that it's had since shortly after this last feast. That plagues me every day, but it felt a little better when I woke up, and I stated I didn't need to run. I still haven't taken my Aclonia cava extract yet. So I know there's benefits in detoxing. There always is. There's so many things that your body needs to get rid of. I highly recommend you do a colon cleanse. They say when John Wayne died, he had over 45 pounds of impacted poop in his intestines when he died. In other words, had his intestines been clean, he'd have been 45 pounds less in weight when he died. And he probably wouldn't have died at the age that he did. It was all the toxins in there. It takes a long time to build up 45 pounds of poop in your intestines. And of course, some of the benefits that were in these foot pads, which they showed on this particular foot pad. It says individually wrapped pads ensure freshness, may help release unwanted toxins and increase energy levels, may reduce aches, pains, headaches, and tiredness. And I've had this GMO headache, and I hardly ever get a headache. But for the last several weeks since the feast, I've been getting this pain in my head. It's not been severe, but it's like been there. It's a GMO related thing, I'm sure. But when I woke up, my sinuses felt better. My headache wasn't anywhere near as bad as what it usually was. And as far as this tiredness goes, man, I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock. I put on the foot pads somewhere around 9:30, and I fell asleep out there in my lounger. I woke up somewhere around 6 o'clock this morning needing to go to the bathroom, so I didn't wake up swimming in a Olympic-sized pool. And then I went right to bed again, and I slept from 10 p.m. other than getting up at that one particular time. Then I went to bed, and I didn't wake up until 2:26 this afternoon. That's like 16 hours. 10 to 10 is 12 hours, and then from 10 to 2, well, that's 14. So 14 and a half hours or so I slept, and it's like I woke up, I was still tired, was going to go back to bed again until I seen it was 2:26 and said, wow, I better get up. And I wasn't feeling right, like I say. It was like I'd done something horribly wrong, and I did. But anyway, it says they may improve metabolism and blood circulation, which, also does the Aclonia cava extract, but in a different way. It says it may help relieve stress and discreet application while you sleep. So anyway, I had bought this brand. Please don't anybody buy the Kenoki brand. It's absolutely imperative that you understand if you do, you're committing spiritual suicide. I know our King has forgiven me because it made me repent bitterly because of my stupidity. Here I'm asking everyone to quit their sins, and I walk into it, and I must have walked into it for your benefit so that you'll learn from my mistake. And that's what a lot of things are, is in the things that I bring forth, is because I made mistakes in them myself for the most part. Of course, I never was gay. That's probably one of the only sins that I really didn't fall into when I was younger, but I was a chief of sinners. And Paul, when he was first called out, said he was the chief of sinners. And he was at that time, but he was learning not to be anymore. You got to realize the Pharisees, and the Sadducees and the priests and everybody else, they were conformed to the Talmud. They were doing traditions of men that our King spoke against all the time. So Paul came to realize he wasn't to live under the letter of the law anymore, but the love of the law. And when he started loving the law, he could see where he was falling short before. And he says, I am the chief of sinners, because he still had some conversion to do. Even Kepha had conversion. Our king said, Kepha, when you're converted, feed my sheep. Kepha wasn't converted while our king was walking on the earth. His conversion came afterwards. Holy Spirit, they didn't even have Holy Spirit until after our king laid his life down and took it up again. And then on that day of Pentecost, Holy Spirit was poured out on them, as well as men out in the parking lot, and women and children too, I suppose. And some were even uncircumcised. But anyway, as far as the detoxing pads go, this is a decent brand from what I'm looking at, this Dr. Entre's foot pads. You can buy a 90 pack for $39.99, $40 for almost 100 pack, which is a 50-day supply actually. And of course you could buy lesser packs of this, and you know, I'm not promoting any certain one. In fact, the ones that I had just got were, I bought this, you can see, I bought this item. I got 100 pieces of the ginger foot pads, patch herbal organic cleansing detox pad, and I bought 100 pads for $14.24. And of course, there's tax on it, no shipping, it's free. And the reason I got these, it shows the ingredients are ginger extracts, bamboo vinegar, bamboo charcoal, citrus extracts. And it's for anti-swelling ginger detox foot pad, drains excessive fluids through the biggest pores in the whole body, your feet, stimulating return circulation of blood and lymph back to the torso. Blending of ginger root extracts, and I know there's a lot of benefit in ginger, and that's why I chose these ones. It reduces swelling and soothes pain by its warming and anti-inflammatory properties. Experience the overnight therapy to unblock your circulatory and lymphatic systems. It expels fluids or toxins, anti-inflammatory to reduce pains and tiredness, decreases, removes swollen glands and legs, improves your metabolism and blood circulation, boosts energy level. And then, of course, it gives a little instruction on how to use it and such. But anyway, this is the brand that I got. And you can see some of these pictures. I don't have, you know, the white tongue as they got there, and I don't have the acne and all that. I do have, as they got showing backwards there, the sleep debt, D-E-B-T, you know, spelled backwards. So I'm thinking that this is sold by those that have a little problem writing instructions and things of that sort because the language problem. And of course it shows if you have problems with constipation or, you know, the acne and things of this sort, it'll help. And I don't have problems in any of those areas except for the sleep, of course. And sometimes it feels as though my glands want to swell. Sometimes in my throat it feels like they want to swell. Things are achy and painy all the time. But I figure I'll give these things a shot. And of course, as I said, there's these other brands, you know, the Dr. Entre's. It shows the ingredients here. It says, using our very own special ingredient combination, we continue to provide our valued customers with the same product they trust every order. Bamboo vinegar, tree vinegar, platicodone, which is a herbal flower, lavender, rose, menthol, peppermint, tourmaline, a natural mineral, vitamin E, bamboo, charcoal, no chitosan, it says. And that's what got me to looking, actually, was when it says no chitosan or chitin, which are what? I said, what? Fish byproducts? I'm like, no! So that's when I went over and I plugged in chitosan for the Google search and found out that I was, again, sinful. Ignorant, but yet sin is sin, you know, there is forgiveness if you ask for it. I know I've been forgiven, but I'm still feeling spiritually estranged. I feel horrible, you know, because of what I did. But it also says there's no synthetic or artificial ingredients. And it says the features here, it relieves stress, discreet application works while you sleep, improves metabolism and blood circulation, reduces aches, pains, headaches, and tiredness, releases unwanted toxins and increase energy levels, individual vacuum sealed and so on and so forth. And then they give instructions how to use it, but they're basically cost prohibitive for me. I really wanted to buy a bulk pack, and that's why, and it may not be as great, but for $14.24 for 100 foot pads, that's 50 nights worth of use for $14.24. Of course, there's tax and shipping. So we're talking like 28, cents, 29 cents per night to use these. And as stated, with these sinful Kinoki ones, they're white. They're pure white, just like it shows. I think over here, it'll probably show on the bottom of their feet on the box how white they are. Well, this is one, and this was the other. And I know they're nasty and disgusting looking, especially that they're unclean, not just from the toxins came out of me, but they had the shellfish in it, But I feel a whole lot less achy, a whole lot less painy. I didn't wake up with rigor mortis this morning, but I should, but I still feel horrible because I rolled right out of bed and I came before our King in prayer. It's just as bad as somebody, I guess, asking their Jesus to bless the pork that they're about to eat. It's a horrible thing, but I have repented of this. I'm not going to do it again. So I am very much recommending that you do things to cleanse out your holy temple. We're supposed to take care of these temples. We're supposed to cherish them, though I'd rather not wake up in the morning. I'd rather just sleep until our King returns. And until he returns, I have to take care of this holy temple. I'm commanded to do so. So are you. And I'll tell you, these foot pads, you could use them on other parts of your body as well, and it will absorb, but the feet are probably the best place for it. And this brand, it's like 10 ginger herbal detox foot pads, okay, which are pretty much the same as the ones I ordered, but they want $6.99 for a set of 10 or for 5 days use. But these ones do not show the ingredients on them. But again, they show, the anti-inflammatory, reducing pain and tiredness, improves the metabolism and blood circulation, boosts energy level. And down here it shows, apart from your feet, you can also apply these detox foot pads onto other parts of your body, including back, knees, elbows, etc. You can see evidence from the changing of the pad color after use. After covering, the toxin will be absorbed from the part and the patch will turn yellow to dark according to your health level. The dirtier you see the foot pad, the more toxins it has absorbed. After consistently using for a period, they will become cleaner each morning. That means most of the toxins in your body have been released already. And then they've got other brands. There's plenty of brands out there on eBay. You can get them from Amazon.com as well, I'm sure. Maybe some pharmacies will be holding these things or whatever. But here it shows the main ingredients for this specific brand to be ginger extracts, bamboo vinegar, bamboo charcoal, citrus extracts. And again, it shows all the same things, anti-swelling, return the circulation of blood and lymph back to the torso, anti-inflammatory, reduces pains and tiredness, decreases, removes swollen glands and legs, improves metabolism and blood circulation, boosts energy level, and all that sort of stuff. So, I hope that you'll look into these things. Again, what I got was from these people. They're going to send me 50 days worth of this for $14.24 plus the tax. And because I do colon cleanses, I try to take care of this holy temple the best I can. I figure this will help a little, especially since I had the GMO poisoning and such. And hey, it's only a suggestion, a recommendation. And again, the ingredients here are the ginger extracts, bamboo vinegar, bamboo charcoal, citrus extracts. And before I use these, what I'm going to do, because I didn't quite have register in my brain, it says main ingredients. I got to find out first if there's any other inert ingredients from this fellow, and even if there are, if there's this chitosan in there, or chitin, I'll just do the same thing and I'll send them next door to Lucy and say, here, these are for some of your friends. I mean, they're eating catfish, they're eating pork, and, you know, for something to help pull some of those toxins out into an unclean thing, it would still benefit them. And who knows, maybe when their brains are a little less clouded from detoxing, they'll see a little better. But I'll give you an update. I'm going to go ahead and write these people here and ask what all the ingredients are in here, and hopefully they'll answer me. And if they contain the chitosan or whatever in there, I'll probably end up with these Dr. N-Trace foot pads and, you know, pay through the nose for 90 pads for $40. But here they show all the ingredients, showing they're 100% natural and none of them are unclean. So sometimes learning a lesson can be expensive. Though I didn't have half the brain fog I've been waking up with since I got GMO poisoned, I'm glad our king did point out to me where it says main ingredients. And that, my friends, means that all the ingredients are not listed here. And so I don't play the part of the fool again. I will check out this. I'll get back with you later because I love y'all. And I love this holy temple. I mean, I don't want to wake up in it again. You know, I'd rather sleep till our king returns, but it's his will that will be done. And until that time, I'm just going to keep coming back to y'all, encouraging us all to stop our sins. Please check out the ingredients on your foods. If you don't know what something is in them, then look it up. All you got to do is just copy the ingredient or type that ingredient like this. Just copy it. Open a new window, just stick it in there. It says bamboo charcoal, click the search button, and it's going to show you what it is. It says bamboo charcoal is made of bamboo. Okay, so if you got things like EDMT or anything of that sort, do a search on it. And though some of these things may only be chemical, or they could be a drug, they could be a deadly poison. And when you see these things for yourself, if they're not something that you believe is holy enough or healthy enough to be put into your holy temple, and certainly not of an unclean source, don't be stupid like me, okay? Go ahead and cut these things out of your diet and get them out of your house. We're not even supposed to have them come in to our homes. And I sinned in that too, you know, because I brought it into my home. Then I put it on my holy temple. And though I feel a whole lot better than I did yesterday, waking up with no rigor mortis, and I didn't have to take my Clonia cava extract the very first thing that I woke up, I still had to ask forgiveness, and it sucketh greatly. So with that, I do love y'all. I love y'all enough to let you know what's going on. Hopefully I sinned enough for you that you don't have to, and I'm not going to do it again either. So let's put our past sins to use as examples as to why we shouldn't do these things, and let's never sin again. Though we know we probably will, let's not do it on purpose. And though it makes myself, I feel like I did this on purpose because of all the excitement of, oh boy, I'm going to get cleansed out here, you know, and everything, that I didn't check out one ingredient that I should have. And it made me a fool. So with that, I do love y'all. Check out everything you got in your cupboards. Check out everything before you put it on your body. Look at your shampoos and everything else. And even though it makes your hair bouncy and all the men just lust over it and everything, the way that it moves and shimmers in the sunlight, I just use regular bar soap on my head because I can't find any that's clean. So with that, you know, we all have to stand before our king personally. I can't stand before the king on your behalf, nor can you for mine. So let's consider those things in everything we put our hands to do. With that, I do love y'all enough to let you know these things. And with that, I gotta say, bye.